So you want to make a video but don't know where to start. You've probably got a ton of ideas and don't know how to order them or what to leave in a video or outside of a video for another idea. These are a lot of the issues that can come up when specifically wanting to film a YouTube video. You could possibly be running into the issue where you have just a lot of ideas that you want to throw into a video, but somewhere along the line they're just not making sense and maybe they belong in a totally different video altogether. So how can you best organize your ideas so that it works seamlessly in your video and you can root out what is essential to the point that you're trying to make in the video or leave certain things out for another video altogether? If we haven't met, welcome to the channel. My name is Steven De Los Rios and these are just some ideas that I actually use when planning out videos. So this is actually my notebook. I am a huge techie guy. I love doing everything on my phone, computer, and just everything electronic. When it comes to actually taking notes and actually planning ideas out for a video, I have learned quickly that this is the best way that works for me. Now this, what I'm about to talk about, can apply to doing everything on your phone as well. If you have a note-taking app that you enjoy, Evernote, Notes, whatever, you go ahead and use that. Essentially what I would do is if I have a general idea of what I would like to make the video on, I start writing it out. I write out the theme and what is the goal of the video. The reason I enjoy actually writing stuff on paper when it comes to video ideas is because there's something about being able to scratch off, highlight, color things that in order of importance visually appeals to me and can kind of direct me on where to go. On my notes, it can get pretty messy, and so I use a lot of highlighters, different colors, in order to highlight the importance of certain things. If I need to come back to a certain idea and revisit it, I can go ahead and just flip to a new page, start writing out ideas. It just works better for my brain. I know some people that do it better on their phone, and that works just as well. The main idea is write your ideas down, because as you're writing your ideas down, ideas evolve over time. The neat thing about having it all on paper is that you can see an overview of what you're trying to achieve. Because a lot of times, if you go out with a camera or a drone and you just start shooting, one of two things can happen. You can either come across so much information that you didn't expect and now you don't know how to organize it. Now when you're editing everything, you just don't really have a good systematic form for everything to follow. Or you can actually run into a situation where you don't know what you're filming and you end up getting discouraged and you just don't film anything at all and you just abandon the idea. This really helps solve that issue. Now, from front to back, this is how I actually planned my videos and my shoots. Specifically videos, if I want to tell a certain message or I want to have a certain objective. What I do is I actually go in here and actually write down what my overall theme is. So, quick example, if I want to shoot a video showcasing Blue Ridge, Georgia, which is a small town here over where I live up in the mountains. There's actually a lot of information that can go into that. There's a lot of scenery, there's a lot of stores, there's a lot of different things that I could go. If I show up into that town with just my camera and my drone and I just start shooting everything, I can actually come out with a good, decent video in post-production as I'm editing everything, but it makes it a lot easier when you actually write things down. So before I go to that town, what I'll do is I'll probably start trying to envision what the best video to my capabilities could look like. So it might start something with like an aerial introduction. I'll have the drone probably coming in from the sky, maybe overlooking a certain mountain or a street view, just something to introduce the landscape. So that's something I'm gonna write down. As I progress and I want to hone in closer into the town, maybe I want to highlight some stores, highlight a certain coffee shop that I love there, or hiking trail or the train system. Those are really big popular attractions there. I'll write this down, and then actually when I go out into the town, I know that I need to go to these certain locations and actually document these areas. If there's gonna be a talking head in your video, maybe you want to walk the viewer through what they're seeing, I'll actually highlight points on the video that I wanna talk about. For example, if I want to overlay the video with some voiceover, or maybe it's transitioning back and forth to me as I'm showing B-roll of the town, I'll write out different points that I want to talk about. If I want to talk about the climate, the temperature, the people there, that's something I'll highlight. If I want to talk about the train station there that you can visit, the train tours you can take around the city, that's something I'm going to highlight. And then when I get to the town, again, it gives me better direction to know this is what I have planned out for my video. Let me go to each individual location. The cool thing about that too is that you can shoot it out of order as well. So if I want to shoot an introduction from this certain vantage point and then somewhere along the timeline I know that I want to highlight a coffee shop, If the coffee shop is right there in my immediate vicinity, I don't have to go shoot the introduction first. I can just do the coffee shop, then go find the perfect place to actually introduce the town. The cool thing too about this system is that when you take it back to your studio, to your office, and actually begin editing, your notes become the timeline. So you're gonna get a bunch of footage, you're gonna get a bunch of information in your SD cards and your memory drives, and it can look a little daunting. You don't know what order you want it all to go into. This is gonna help. If you have a timeline, you know that, hey, a coffee shop is gonna fit better in this section because I wrote it out. This is according to my vision. The vision can change, but it helps you structurally put together the video a little more fluid, thereby preventing a little bit of frustration as well. So I love to write everything down front to back. Now, a couple of notes too. Before I go out and do anything, before I even start writing it down, one thing that works for me is I love editing to music. Music for me guides the process. A lot of times will dictate if I make a video or not, if I can find a good enough song for the vision that I want. Almost kind of like a thumbnail and a title. You don't want to start a video unless you can determine the perfect thumbnail and title that's gonna draw in your viewer. So for me, the music has a huge impact. So what I will do is I will actually drive around town scanning different songs on a bunch of different apps that I use, a bunch of services, looking for the song that matches my vision. So I'll have an idea in my head, and if I cannot find the song to that, I'll put that on hold, probably revisit it a little later, work on a different project. If I can find the best song while I'm driving around trying to get a feel of what I want the viewer to get in the video, perfect. That is a perfect stepping stone. Then what I do is, according to my vision and the song put together, I sit down in a quiet room, probably have the song on repeat in the background because it's influencing the video content, and I'll write it down. So step by step, depending on the idea, I'll write, what do I think the introduction is gonna be like? What do I want to tell in between the introduction and the end? Are there different parts of a town that I really want to highlight, or do I want to highlight some scenery that I think is going to be really cool during this beat drop? For me, it's heavily influenced by the song. The song choice is the first thing to go. Then I sit in a quiet room and I just plan it all out. And you don't have to get too in detail. Don't try and write out every single moment if you're not wanting to script it all out. I personally don't like scripting things out, but I will hit general highlights on here so that when I go out and shoot, I'm not just aimlessly wandering around. It's gonna provide a much more solid timeline for your editing as you're weeding through all the footage and all the photos you may have taken during that shoot. I just got the DJI Air 3, so that is the new toy I'm playing around with. I'm gonna be releasing a review in a little while after I've had a lot of time to play around with it and just figure out the nuances, see what I like, especially moving up from the Mini 2, which was a great drone to play around with and start with. So in the meantime, enjoy this montage of video clips from the air of the mountains. We'll see you guys next week.